Alright, welcome to what is very clearly not a Deep Rock video. Just out the gate, we're going to rip that band-aid off. And it's so much so that Harry isn't even here, because that's why I'm doing this video. He's off doing something. I have no idea what it was. He didn't tell me. And last time that occurred, when I was gone, Harry did a Dio tier list. So I thought I'd take it upon myself to get some guests, which is Tom. Say hello, Tom.
No.
Okay. And James. Say hello, James. I hate you both. You're off to a very thin line.
You really need to sort out your fucking mic. It's really bad.
It's
really,
not.
It's really bad. It is. It's terrible.
It's fine. It's wunderbar.
It'd be better using just normal Xbox party chat than this on Discord, because it didn't sound that bad in party, I don't think.
Okay. James, do you agree with this?
He wasn't in the party, so he doesn't know.
Alright.
Well, James, yours sounds like you're across the fucking room and just as shit. So
I don't like that his sounds just as shit. Mine's a £50 mic. His is earphones.
Mine is AirPods.
Oh god, that explains it. I don't even know how AirPods have mics. Alright,
I
well,
don't fucking know how it works.
yeah. Well, can you at least understand me, or does it just sounds bad?
it's just really poor quality.
Don't worry about that. That's our channels. That's our branding. That's in our.
They watch Battle Vision.
And then I'm ill as well.
Yeah. Look, this is going to be very scuffed, which is why we just have to kind of get into it. And speaking of scuffed and getting into it, our first villain, which isn't our first villain, which is a real notch to this tier
Start
list.
at the beginning. We should probably start at the beginning of villains and go through.
Yeah, which is what I have done. I've ordered them generally about, like, not necessarily shown, but like shown and importance of the time.
Wasn't the first one just a
Alvida.
random bandit guy?
Yeah, technically, yeah, a random bandit guy and then Alvida, but neither of them are on this tier list because, I don't know, they just forgot about them, I guess. But they did have our Lord and Savior, Buggy the Clown. And I think...
Strong.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that Buggy is really an example of something that, like, people want to praise One Piece on, but, like, it's not inherently true, but it is for Buggy, in that, like, Oda keeps bringing characters back, right? And that is Buggy. That's all Buggy is. It's someone that he just kind of added at the beginning and just keeps bringing back, reinforcing, adding more, bringing him back, putting him higher up in the world until... As you're aware, he is now a Yonko, right? He is now the pinnacle of the world. Everyone fears at his name, and yet, as far as we're aware, he isn't really any stronger than he was back in Orange Town. Like, I think he had a new buggy bomb.
He should be. No, he's also got the. I mean, he goes really big, but that's just strategy.
Have we actually seen like any powers he's developed or anything like that?
In the fucking Impel Down, he pulled out a special buggy bomb, which was like bigger and better than what he had in Orange Town, but it still did nothing against the Awakened Zone like Warden. So it's actually, did it do nothing? I think it did actually knock it down for a little bit, but either or. Point is, Buggy is still not strong and not even close to the top of the world, as shown by Mihawk and Crocodile just beating the shit out of him.
More powerful.
Yeah, Buggy himself is not anywhere close to probably even the Warlord that he was at before. Like, he's probably would get beaten by Moria, which was deemed as too weak, right? But Buggy is just he just has a luck ability apparently. Like, he just lucks his way to the top and lies his way to the top, and it fucking works. Like, he now commands probably the strongest, like, fleet in the world. Like, other than like maybe Luffy's, but even then, it with Crocodile and Mihawk now under him. Well, not really under him. They're above him, but the world sees them as under him. The Cross Guild, which is now that new thing, is definitely a new power in the world, and it's pretty interesting that the random schmuck fucking clown goof-ass at the beginning of the series is the figurehead of what is likely to end up being like a fucking like navy tier like power in the world in the future. Maybe like it's like putting bounties on marines and stuff like that. Like it's pretty wild, and I think you've definitely got to give it to Buggy that he is up there, right? Like he's got really, like, you know, he's got pretty strong design, pretty strong character, and the fact that he's been around for like he's followed Luffy, right? He's had his own adventure and got stronger through the world, using his unbelievable luck.
Presence. His presence carries more listeners like him actually.
Yeah, like I think that at least A, but I think Buggy could deserve an S, to be honest with you.
Honestly, I was thinking A.
A, Tom, A or S, no lower.
You mean A or S?
A or S. Buggy
I don't like him.
You don't like Buggy.
I don't like Buggy.
Why don't you like Buggy?
I don't know. He's just annoying. I know he's supposed to be annoying. That's like his whole fucking thing, but he's still annoying.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, till 2 to 3. But I do kind of agree with you, because like early Usopp, I hated. I hate people that like lie and can't back their shit up. But I don't know, something about Buggy and how it always just works. It's just kind of so goofy. I don't know. He's a clown. He's a real clown boy. He's a real goofy goober. But I'll tell you who is a little bit goofier. Fucking Kuro, the probably opposite of Buggy. He's the example I want to point out of characters that sometimes Oda just doesn't bring back. Sometimes they're just not that big of a deal, and he just doesn't care to bring them back. And Kuro is one of them.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. He's
Kuro just wasn't it?
yeah. He was a technical threat. Like, you know, he actually did some damage to Luffy. Like, he cut him up a bit, but he still wasn't that big of a deal. Arguably, he introduced like Soru moving so fast that you can't even see it, but he couldn't even control it, so he just started wildly cutting everyone around him. Like, I don't know, he doesn't help in making fucking like Sirit Village and Usopp thing like being a bit of a drag to go through. Like, he's just not that like good of a villain, to be honest with you, and I think I can't put him any higher than C, but I'm down for putting him in D.
Honestly, D. He just wasn't that important. It was like
yeah, and his plan was kind of dumb as well. Like,
he was just a cunt, basically.
yeah, he's just a pillock who didn't even want to be a pirate anymore for some reason. Like, I don't know, just don't be a pirate then. Like, fuck, like, I don't know. Yeah, for now, D, and by that I mean it's probably gonna stay there.
It's probably gonna stay there, yeah.
But this is an interesting one. Arlong. Arlong, obviously, in his own arc, he was like the best shit you had in East Blue, right? He was the culmination. He was the big bad, and he was fucking kind of sick in all regards. Really, he was a pretty sick villain, and he's a pretty sick villain. But he's just kind of faded out, if you know what I mean. Like, obviously they brought him back a little bit with like Jinbei's flashback. Like, he was but like he has never actually come back. We just got to see a little bit more of why he is what he is, right? Why he hates humans so much. And I think that does give him like a layer above. I mean, he was already a layer above Kuro, but I think this might bring him up to like I think probably B, in my opinion. I think Arlong was a very, very good villain for the beginning of the story, but I don't know. He hasn't really like persisted like some of the bigger threats do, or like I mean,
could have been better.
yeah. As far as the world is concerned, Arlong is not that big of a deal, and has never really mattered, right? Like, and as far as we're concerned, that kind of carries through. Like, he's not someone that people really bring up anymore because he's not worth bringing up.
No, he's not.
In the terms of what's going on in the world right now. But yeah, I think Arlong, he was good for what he was, like very good, a really good early villain, but it's kind of faltered since. Yeah, and then these are some of the things. This tier list gets me confused because obviously Smoker is a villain, like, or not really a villain, an antagonist, right? Which is something that you could describe some of these things, but like a lot of other people would also be, because Smoker is also arguably a friend to Luffy, right? Like they work alongside each other quite a lot, and it's pretty hard to put him like too low down considering that, right? He's not just like a shitty villain that gets put down in the dark. He's like a quasi antagonist that's like willing to work, like a rival kind of thing, and I don't know. I think he's just. Thing is though, Smoker has like never won a fight except for Luffy the first time.
No.
Like he loses. Yeah, like we have, but he always gets put against enemies like stronger than him after his improvement, and it just makes it feel like no matter how much like Smoker like improves and goes through the ranks of the Marines, he's always just not enough, and that's a really hard place for a rival to Luffy to be put into, since Luffy has always beaten the enemy, right? Like he has always gotten stronger and conquered bigger threats, while like Smoker couldn't even beat Law, right? Like or Virgo, which we'll get to later. Like Smoker is a cool character, but he is no way close to a threat in the series. Like it was a cool introduction for Logias, and an introduction that Marines aren't inherently bad. Like, but yeah, he's just not in any way threatening, which is important for a villain to have.
It really is.
So, I don't know. I think, I don't know. I want to say C. As far as Smoker being a villain is concerned, he is a C tier villain. But character goes, he's kind of up there. He's a really fun guy. Like it's always like, oh hell yeah, Smoker's here. Let's go. Like he's always
nice to see when Smoker's in.
Yeah, he's a rad dude. But speaking of not rad dudes. Fucking Wapple. Like oh why he is just a little shit eating goblin man. Like he's
more of a prick than he was.
Yeah, he's just annoying. His plans are annoying. The way he was just a very annoying entity. Which yeah, and he just continues to be so, because you get like a cover story where he's now like a baron of like an evil fucking city or some shit, and like he was in Reverie, and I'm pretty sure he did some annoying ass shit there. Like Wapple is just built worse, and it's just built annoying. So I don't know. I think he's definitely a D, just because like. He's just the most snivelling little fucker, and that's kind of the worst type of villain.
He's put an extra tier that's just Wapple.
Yeah, maybe.
How prick he is.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a bad shout. Maybe we'll do it if we notice that it's making all the other D tiers look bad. That Wapple is sitting next to him. We'll sort that out. Tom, you've been quiet. How's everything going so far? You think we've dissed Smoker too much? Okay, Tom.
I only need like 30 more seconds
to like catch
I can
up.
explain to you
He's thinking.
What's going on.
It takes him a while sometimes.
No, I'm not thinking about that. That's important shit's going on right now. So I need like 30 more seconds. Just talk to yourselves, and I'll be back and explain what's going on.
Okay, that sounds fun. While we does that, it probably won't take more than 30 seconds to talk about Dan's Bones, who is like, I guess the first minion villain that they've added here.
Yes.
Like he is really just an instrument for better characters. Like, him being made out of like metal and swords was only really a thing. Like, he was only really a character to make Zoro stronger and better with the sword, right?
Yeah.
He was just used to make them better. And after that, he obviously went to Impel Down with Crocodile, and now he's just used as Crocodile, like as his arc, to show that Crocodile now trusts and like wants subordinates, right? Because that was like Crocodile's.
That was the whole thing about
Yeah.
it.
I'm back.
All right.
What's going on?
We're talking about Daz Bones and how he's really just an instrument for the story and not an actual character. Like, literally, he was there to just make Zoro stronger, and he was there to just show that Crocodile now likes having a subordinate and is willing to like trust other people. And it really just results in Daz Bones being just not a character. He's just not a character at all in like any regard. His design is also pretty nothing. like I mean,
Never had any opinions on anything at all. Like all through like what was it? What's the fucking
Alabaster or Impel Down?
Alabaster? Why did it Alabaster? He was never. He was always just Crocodile's guy, and he never had any opinions when he was separated from him either. He was just like either silent, or he was just because he was just a showcase of strength. He was just a powerful subordinate. That's all he was. And that's all he wanted to be. He just worked for someone else. He was strong.
Yeah, and
he did what they told him to do, and obviously it's a good get up for him, but.
He is like
that's all he is.
Because
he's
I think
strong.
Before then he was like a really strong mercenary. Like, that was kind of like his whole thing, and he is like the strong and silent type. But like, this One Piece is better than the strong and silent type, right? And
they have motives.
Yeah,
they have like goals, and he doesn't have any goals or motives.
He is literally just used to make Zoro stronger, and Crocodile show that he's learned something from Luffy. That's it. That's Daz Bones entirely.
There's nothing wrong with him, so I don't want to put him in like the bottom.
I guess D tier is I think C tier is probably about right.
D would have to, because C's a pass, isn't it?
Yeah.
So C.
I think it's kind of the opposite.
He exists. There's nothing wrong with him.
Like
he's there.
Smoker has character, but not strength. Daz Bones didn't have a character, but he had strength for the time.
Complete opposite.
Yeah, like he did it. He does enough.
Well, Smoker had strength at the time as well.
Well, literally, fucking Logtown. That was it. And even then, like, literally, all Dragon had to do, and in all fairness, there isn't a chance in hell he's beating Dragon. But all he had to do was just show his face, and Smoker was like, "Oh fuck!" Like, but in all fairness, that's I assume like a Yonko pulling up, so I don't blame him.
I mean, we don't really know how strong Dragon is, apart from he's strong.
No, but we obviously know that he's. And in all fairness, considering that Smoker did take that pretty well. Like, imagine you see Kaido pull up.
He is.
Yeah.
We don't even know if he's that strong. We don't even know if fucking Dragon's that strong.
No, we don't. I mean, we can assume he has
he's
strength.
somewhat strong.
Yeah.
Because he has to be. He's probably going to be stronger than all the other revolutionaries.
Yeah, and they have been shown to be
showcased to be incredibly strong, or he doesn't have to be incredibly strong either.
He's just, at the very least, he's just dangerous. Maybe that's just his like, his ideas, his stuff like that.
That is his like moniker, the most wanted man, because he's smart, isn't he? He's calculating. He has a motive and a goal. And he doesn't need the strength to complete that goal necessarily, because he's in the shadows the whole time.
Yeah, but it's also heavily implied that he has like the storm fruit or whatever, right? Like, he was the one that made the storm that helped the Straw Hats get away on Logtown. And I think if that is the case, if that's confirmed, that is a very strong devil fruit. That is like, like like that's something.
That's gonna be like up there.
Yeah.
This as soon as they actually showcase this, if this is true, this could be just amazing.
Yeah. But for now, he's not on this list because obviously he's not a villain yet? Question mark. But because that would be interesting if like Dragon is actually not that good a guy. Although so far he's been nothing but built to that. Right? Like, he was there on O'Hara and stuff. Like. Yeah. But for now, let's talk about this. Is going to be controversial no matter where it goes, I would say. Crocodile, very favoured by the community, and I don't blame them. You what, Tom?
He's boring.
Uh-oh.
He's overhyped.
In all fairness, I completely agree with you. I like Crocodile like quite a lot. His design is rad. His abilities are rad. The threat he presented at the beginning of the series was unparalleled. Him beating Luffy fucking twice, that is what made One Piece One Piece, when Luffy actually faced up against Crocodile. But he is overhyped. he is just kind of he's just a maniacal.
What you just listed, which is good about him, is just Oda placing the character and using him in such a good way.
Yeah.
Like, he is positioned just as they enter the Grand Line. Amazing. He's been hyped up beforehand. Incredible hype beforehand as well, with like the little like
all of
access
it.
place.
Yeah, Whiskey
And then,
Pete.
like, talking about it before, Whiskey Pete. Yeah, first time we've actually got a good villain. So
Yeah.
obviously he's gonna be fond because he's the first proper villain with like hype and everything. And then just that arc was incredible as well, because not only was it just like the first Grand Line arc, but it also talked about like the Void Sentry and everything.
Void
and the
Sentry,
Poneglyph,
Pluton,
and Robin,
yeah.
ancient weapons, fucking the Marines,
like
Ace,
I think
everything about it. And then he's the main villain of that incredible. No, because it's not just a good arc.
it's a
but
good
just
saga.
Placement. It's
Yeah.
just placement. So much placement. Just convenience in every regard.
Yeah.
Which obviously just looks so much more in his favour. But as a standalone character, without the positioning and the rest of the story around him culminate, like all of that credit has just been put on him when it isn't him.
Like, but I think you
He's right there, right on.
yeah, but like you have got to
He
like
ain't shit. He ain't shit. He's good. He's decent. You know, like
He-
I think B. I think B. Maybe A.
yeah, no, I still think he's definitely up there, but like a lot of people would say he's S tier. I would say A.
They're saying he's fucking incredible, but he isn't. He's just not that good.
I think he was like amazing during fucking Alabasta, right? Like, I mean, he was like, you know, he was super intimidating, unbeatable. Like, he captured the Straw Hats, was very close to killing them. Although obviously he then got outsmarted by Sanji, which isn't a great thing. Since Crocodile's whole thing is that he is very smart and calculating. But and he got outsmarted, which you know, just a win Sanji moment. You know how it is. But like. And then, obviously, he then went to Impel Down, which he then reappeared in, which people fucking, like, were hyped to shit about that. Like, they loved him reappearing. And in all fairness, in Marineford, he was also pretty fucking studly, though, right? Like, first of all, he immediately went to kill Whitebeard. He then, like, actually fucking protected Luffy from, like, Akainu. Crocodile was studly, okay, during Marineford. Like, even though he doesn't feel like he belongs in that kind of tier, he is, right? Like, even though Luffy beat him, he is definitely one of the strongest in the verse, and it's more calculating and kind of that kind of thing.
Not one of the strongest in the verse, though, is he? He just isn't.
Well, considering he is being currently shown to be at least equal, respect-wise, to Mihawk. Like, Mihawk respects him, he respects Mihawk, right? And they're fine with kind of working together above Buggy, right? You've got to kind of... give Crocodile that he is respected highly in the universe. Like he was a fucking warlord, right? Like
Shown to deserve any of that respect.
In all fairness, literally, if Luffy didn't appear, he would have had Alabasta. He would own a country with a poneglyph in it. Basically what Kaido has right now, right? He would have had territory.
Kaido has a road poneglyph.
Yeah, in all fairness. But he had a poneglyph that told him... Right, he got a person that could read poneglyphs, which, first of all, there's, like, 2 of those, right? Like, and he got one of those, and he got a poneglyph...
He's punching above his weight.
Like, but
That's all he can do. That's all he's good at.
Maybe, yeah.
Somehow squirming his way up to the big boys when he doesn't deserve it. He does not have the strength for it. He got beaten by fucking Luffy, and Luffy at that time was a nobody.
That is the issue. He is such
rightly so, because Luffy was just weak then.
He is such a strong weakness, right? Because like the fact that he's a Logia that even non-hacky users can like beat up is an F. Is an F for Crocodile. Like,
that's an L. That's
I mean,
bad.
yeah,
even know is he adept with haki?
we can
Do we even-
assume
We don't
so,
think so.
but
Well,
We've
probably,
never-
yeah, but like we haven't seen it, have we? We have no
we
evidence.
haven't.
He should, but what would he even?
The thing is,
have like
He was
a specific
strong
haki
enough to
power
stand
is like so
to
essential.
Conqueror's haki.
the thing is he may not have haki or may not have had haki back then, because his whole thing is that he has truly mastered his devil fruit, right? Like, it was arguable whether or not he had actually awakened his fruit, right? Because remember when whatever he touched with his left hand, it turned to sand. That arguably was an awakening. Arguably,
Yeah,
not
that was-
confirmed, but it could have been a pre-awakening. Like, he really spec'd hard into his devil fruit, which was only to really make the point that Luffy needs to work harder in his devil fruit as well. Like, it was to build up, like, him trying to experiment more. But
Which is good for the place, but then we found out that obviously haki is the pure counter to devil fruit, and no matter how good your devil fruit is, unless you spec heavily into haki, you're useless.
pretty much,
Yeah.
which is
Because
something.
that's what it is now. That is actually what it is now. You are useless without good haki.
Yeah, that is kind of the case. Like, yeah, and the opposite. If you have good haki, you're pretty invulnerable.
At the high levels, compete the high levels now. It's high level conquerors haki that you need.
Yeah, or at
I
least
mean,
like
it was always that, but we know that it's always that.
Yeah.
It's always been that you need high level conquerors to actually like even hold a candle
yeah,
to even stand up against the current
yeah,
crop.
which is why I think Crocodile needs to
Not just high
actually
conquerors.
needs to actually show like his quotation marks true strength, the strength that is implied by his status, right? In that he's a high up in the world, renowned, that kind of thing. He needs to actually show Conqueror's haki at least, first of all, right? I feel like he could own it, right? Like, I think Crocodile has the right. Either that or he doesn't, and that's why he didn't get Alabaster.
Sidetracked by putting him in strength instead of actually just how good they were as a villain.
I guess, but as a villain, he was amazing in his arc. He was
Oh, yeah.
he was a undominable threat who won multiple times against not only Luffy but the entire Straw Hats, other than Sanji, but you know that's what it is. And he almost had like everything. He had a country. He had a known location of a fucking Pluton. Like, it would have been. He would have won, right? Oh, probably not,
Yeah.
because he would have known that Pluton was in Wano, and then he would have been like, "Shit, how the fuck am I supposed to get into Wano? That's where Kaido is." And then, like, but yeah, yeah. So he probably would have. That would have been a bit iffy, but I don't know. Yeah, I still think he's A. I think definitely A. We just need to. I think we just need to him to demonstrate actual strength to make him a threatening enough entity in the current age to put him in S. But for now,
I'll say A. I was going to say B, but A. Yeah, now after discussion.
plus rad design. Let's be honest, right? He looks fucking rad. he's a studly motherfucker. And all right,
Because he did everything that a villain's supposed to do.
yeah, he did.
And he did it well.
Yeah, he was so good in his arc, and he was good later on. He's just kind of fallen behind, even though not entirely. Like, luckily we got a recent update with Cross Guild, but I don't know, it's still pretty. He's still cool, but I don't think he's the best of the best of the best. Like, he's not S tier.
No.
But arguably, Blackbeard, who appeared in Jaya, so that's why he's this early on. I think he can only really be S, right?
He is just S.
Like,
he has the potential to be such.
He's the complete opposite to Luffy, and he's like a constant like opposing force.
Thing is though, is that like he isn't a complete opposite, right? Like, I watched the video on.
Well, he's the opposite type of pirate. Like,
Yeah.
he's still like all about freedom and everything.
Yeah.
He just like interpreted the same idea as Luffy, but he interpreted it in a different way.
True freedom, so he could do whatever he wanted, not so everyone could do everything they wanted. I think that's kind of like.
Luffy doesn't want everyone to do what they want either, because he's like, the classic stuff of like, he doesn't want to be a hero.
Yeah, but he just I don't know. I don't know. I don't really can't really pinpoint the difference. But obviously, they just both want to be able to do whatever they want. But obviously,
Blackbeard's just not a good person, and Luffy is.
Yeah, Blackbeard
Like,
chooses a
not.
darker path. If you get the joke, haha, because darkness fruit. But yeah, I think it's But yeah,
Seems like Blackbeard's sort of like scheming how he's gonna get the freedom and everything. He's this is how I'm gonna do it and everything. And Luffy's just actually being free.
yeah, Blackbeard is a absolute scheming motherfucker, right? I think he has actually spent more of his life like scheming than actually doing anything. Like he spent like I don't know how old he is. He looks like 40 to 50, right? But he from when he was a child to when he killed Thatch, waiting for the darkness fruit to appear, right? He was just sitting there like, I have this plan planned out, I just need a darkness fruit, and then boom, there it was. And so
He's like just procrastinating, whereas Luffy's just like doing his thing.
He was actively like he refused to be the second commander of the Whitebeard crew. Like I don't think he wanted to be renowned at all. Like he was a kind of nobody, right? Like not many people actually knew about like Blackbeard, other than like Shanks, because somehow Blackbeard scarred Shanks, and we don't know how yet, or that kind of thing. Like Blackbeard has so many mysteries around him, but not only that, we know so many things in that like he's built different. He is just built different. Like we don't know how or why, but like he is everything, right?
Up since Jaya.
Yeah, Jaya, he was shown to be
complete mysteriousness.
Yeah, Jaya, he was shown to be like a mysterious figure that was like equal to Luffy in that he like had the same kind of opinion on dreams. He had the same kind of crew, stuff like that. Like he is. Tom's just gone. He is like he was shown to be so much, and he's lived up to it, over-lived up to it. He's like the only person in confirmed history to have 2 devil fruits. His crew is absolutely fucking dripping. Like it's not surprising that everyone thinks that Blackbeard is the final threat, right? Or at least he's going to be there at the final war. And I think he is already S tier, and I think once he is actually the main villain of an arc, holy shit, man. Holy shit!
He's gonna be going above
because he's like obviously part of the world generation. He's just been going along with Luffy like the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, the whole time Luffy's been doing his thing, they've just been like just actively just improving themselves.
Yeah, I would say like you could say that Luffy's growth rate has been obscene, right? But Blackbeard, I would say Blackbeard isn't inherently stronger than Luffy, but I think Blackbeard and
insane growth rate, to be honest. I mean, the fact that he's kept up, and Luffy got fucking 2 years training from the Pirate King second hand. This man's insane.
Yeah, Blackbeard and his crew. I think if we lump in his crew, is probably the most powerful shit in the sea right now, right? And except for like the high up world governments. Yeah, but honestly, I think Blackbeard and his crew could rival Shanks's crew, right?
Shanks would win, but like because Shanks has to. I mean, Shanks is just fucking god.
Yeah, but I think
we have not seen anyone be able to fucking hold a candle to him other than Whitebeard himself, and even then, I think Whitebeard would have lost in that state because he's dying. Obviously, Prime Whitebeard probably would have won.
Yeah,
but fuck, I mean, he doesn't even need his right hand though.
No, yeah.
It's a left arm, isn't it?
He's in his.
It's his left arm, I think.
Yeah, arm, sorry. Considering he's in a weakened state at the moment, and he's still carrying that much like power with like whatever he's doing.
He shows up, just dominates admirals.
Literally.
Every single person.
It's just Shanks.
Just like.
Yeah. Well, the thing is though, you got to think about that matchup, and you've got to acknowledge the fact that Blackbeard doesn't have an advantage like he normally does. Like his whole thing is that his darkness fruit will counter devil fruits, but Shanks does not give a fuck about that, right? Like he does not care in the slightest.
None of his crew does either.
Not that we know of. No, the film Red, I don't think showed anything.
Actually, no, it did. There was the guy who was going to shoot a laser beam out of his mouth or something. I assume that's a devil fruit of some sorts.
It might be, but I don't know what it would be. because
Just remember when he was like going over it, and they were all like, "No, don't! They're civilians," as he was charging up a fucking mouth beam. He opened his mouth and he goes,
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, because one of kids' crew like breathes fire. Like some people just do weird stuff. Like it could be a cyborg, who knows? But like, yeah, no, like Blackbeard,
Yeah, good point.
Blackbeard is already S tier in that he's built up to be like, because like obviously Buggy has been built up, but he's obviously built up but not the strongest. Blackbeard is built up and is the strongest.
not just strong. He's built up in like, because he's got such a motive, such a clear and like motive goal, fucking, and it's also contrasting with the main characters. He's like an antagonist in all regards. Like he's been competing in strength. He's been there the entire time. He's lumped in the worst generation. He's got a goal and a fucking crew.
And it's just the fact that
he's
like
got everything.
as far
He's
as
just a main villain.
as far as like the world's kind of concerned, like Blackbeard is really just similar to Luffy, right? In that they are just both chaotic entities that like just aspire for true freedom, right? And which is really kind of what challenges Luffy's
Both
ideals.
completely chaotic, doing whatever they want. It's just Blackbeard is an awful cunt, and
Yeah.
Luffy's a good guy. Luffy just does whatever he wants. He kills as much as he wants. He just doesn't want to.
Yeah, like I don't know. It's really interesting because like as a story and a character, it on base level just challenges Luffy's beliefs in that he is a representation of them, right? This is what Luffy aspires to. If Luffy gets his goal and the world has true freedom, people like Blackbeard will constantly appear, which is something that his existence gives credit to the Navy, because they counter people like Blackbeard, right? They kill them, basically. They silence them.
Yeah.
They're like, no, you ain't dicking around. We are the force that stops people like you from doing stuff like this. But yeah, it's just on so many levels, Blackbeard is absolutely fucking groundbreakingly awesome. And yeah, he's definitely yes. Let alone when he actually becomes the main villain and we get more on why he is what he is, and stuff like that. It's going to be wild. But yeah, let's I guess simmer down a little bit, but not too much, because Enel, which people really like Enel, considering that's an arc that like a lot of people kind of just skip. Like you know, obviously you don't skip fucking Skypiea. It's kind of a
I swear
drag.
you fucking told me to skip it.
I may have told you.
But I just read it anyway.
Didn't,
And I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it. It was one of my favourites. And everyone hates on Skypiea so much.
It really is. It just because, right? And I think this is what I pinpointed it as, right? After Alabasta and Jaya, you really feel like the world recognizes what Luffy does, and that everything he did in Alabasta worked towards something, like with the bounties, right? But then you go straight into Skypiea, and everything he does up there, no one will ever know. Right, that's what it felt for me. That it felt like it was so isolated from the world that it like no one would recognize what he does. It's not really working towards anything, right? Like they could have just skipped it. Like they didn't actually have to go to the Sky Island. I don't think.
And that's because everyone was getting so caught up in the story at the time. But that's just one aspect of the story as a whole.
Yeah, but no, like obviously that is what I thought at the time. But after a little while, I mean, I've reread Skypiea probably about 2-3 times. I obviously watched it the first time, but Skypiea is such a fun thing, first of all, and like that's its whole thing. Like it is just like, if you believe it, the world can be so fun. Don't get bogged down in science and reality, right? Because that's what Bellamy was. It was like, you know, that can't be real, and even if it was, it would be explainable. Like it's not worth thinking about. But like the One Piece world is so much romance to it, like, and that was Skypiea. But then obviously
now we know literally that things get created out of pure like hope and will.
Yeah,
like that's all anything is.
Yeah,
like anyone who's thinking that they can control it and that it's like all predictable and is just incorrect.
Yeah, and
It's
obviously
gonna get them so far.
The boss of this arc was Enel, who, let's be honest, I easily saw from the beginning that he would not be able to do anything to Luffy. And I'm not bragging, it's just the fact that, like, with the simple knowledge that electricity, or like rubber doesn't, it counters electricity, just knowing that rubber is like an insulator or something like that, right? I knew that Luffy is going to be a counter to NL, which kind of made everything just a bit of a drag, knowing that from the get-go. But still, anyone other than Luffy never stood a chance.
I don't know if anyone saw that. I think everyone would, but then again, a lot of people are quite stupid and don't really give any thought to anything.
Yeah, well, like,
The second I saw lightning, I was like, okay, so this is gonna be. They're gonna get to the end boss fight. He's gonna get struck by lightning, and Luffy's just gonna shrug it off, and they're gonna go, oh,
yeah, yeah.
and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, and obviously they then managed to drag it out a little bit more by just like throwing a giant golden orb on his hands and throwing him down a cliff or something, right? And then they made it a fight too. But like, still, I would argue that Luffy's fight against Enel was kind of predictable and annoying due to the fact that you could see it coming, but it still was a payoff, because up until that point, Enel was a god. He was a god. Anyone that did anything against him, he could instantly fucking kill.
Which again,
observation.
That's what villains always seem to do, which is great. They like introduce a new type of power.
Yeah, and you've got to credit where credit's due though. Enel still has probably one of the best observation hackies in the series, right? He could see and count the people on an entire island, right? Like that kind of specificity is kind of unparalleled. Well, he has like a special, because like there are apparently, and this is not confirmed anyway, but people see there are branches of observation, right, that you can kind of go into like future observation, or like you'll have like area observation, like what Kobe has. Like he was able to feel the entire marine fort when that awoke. Like NL has a pretty unique type of observation, which is like area but also specific. Like he can kind of read the exact type of people they are in like a giant area. But
kind of like a radar type thing, like sending out waves and then reading the positions that bounce back.
Yeah, and arguably he could also see the future, but I don't think it was like full on future sight. But he just dodged attacks that were coming, which is pretty normal observation. But yeah, no, I mean NL on his own in Skypiea was a literal god. That if Luffy wasn't Luffy and had the Gomu Gomu no fruit, even though technically he doesn't, but you get what I mean. Like,
it's weird though. How did they? Because the only reason is like, oh, he's the rubber man, so therefore, but he isn't the rubber man though, is he?
No, he's not. No.
Well, yeah, I guess it is still rubber, but I guess they just see rubber as the ultimate form of freedom, right? Because I guess this
rubber, but he's not got the rubber fruit.
The issue is that what we're about to say is manga spoilers, like heavy manga spoilers. So I don't know if you haven't read it.
Like the most recent chapter.
Yeah, and it's also it's not something that's like, oh, I don't care what happened in the most recent chapter. It's a question to the question we've had since the beginning of the fucking series. Devil fruits are dreams. They are the dreams of people from long ago manifested in a fruit. That is basically what they are.
It's not 100% confirmed because Vegapunk said that it was his theory. But he said it's his theory, and it was introduced like that in such a grandiose way and everything. I feel like
he's at least not going to be 100% wrong, right? I think he's got to get the grip of what it actually is, but maybe we'll get a time skip to like the lost 100 years, lost century, and maybe it's like it wasn't a coincidence or magic. Maybe they scienced their dreams into being a thing, right? Maybe it's more something like that, but I don't know. Point is, yeah, it doesn't make much sense that like the as long as freedom and like liberation, as long as that is a dream people have, the Gomu Gomu no Mi / Nika Nika fruit will exist. Which arguably, that is, I just had an epiphany. If the freedom fruit, right, the liberation fruit turns you into rubber, that means whatever they were aspiring to be freed from, rubber was the only thing that could free them from it. So maybe whatever entity in the lost century, right? Whatever that was using the electric fruit. That was the thunder fruit or whatever it is. That is a theory I've just came up with.
Because the massive robot, they were thinking of what's the fuel source?
What is the fuel source? And it's electricity. Plus, it is heavily implied that electric fruit is important. Because when he went to the fucking moon, right? Because obviously this was a cover story that's pretty important to Enel's character. When he went to the moon, his electric powered up the race there, right? His electric is a power source to ancient technology, and space technology, right?
Not
Like,
just space though, but on Earth as well.
yeah, like Enel is actually like just fucking, I don't know, it's like Enel is so important beyond his character. As a character, he just has a fat fucking god complex, and it's kind of cool, and it's kind of, it is what it is. He's got a fat fucking ego.
They can also inherit the will of the fruit as well.
Yeah.
That's what I was about to say, yeah.
But like he is actually just built. His fate and what he represents in the series is likely going to be, on retrospective, once the series is over, literally Oda telling us to the face early on in the series how it's going to end and what happened in the Lost Century, right? Like, because obviously people already noticed that Skypiea as an arc is foreshadowing. It was foreshadowing the series as a whole, right? Luffy rising up to beat gods. That was kind of a thing that people caught on to.
Also, the bigger the foreshadowing bit, so the bigger it was at the beginning, the more important that is going to be later on.
Yeah. I think if we actually if we just fucking found out that, like, the reason why the Nika Nika fruit is rubber because they were rising up against the Thunder God, then that brings so much. Because also, technically, in Skypiea, it was the first time they ever brought up the Sun God. They never brought up Nika by name, but they brought up there was a sun god, earth god, some other gods, right? And that was like a whole thing. Point is, Enel as a character is fine. Enel's fruit as a
what he represents in everything and what he's done is like really good.
Is literally like he has the potential to be the most significant villain in the entire story. Like, him existing, literally, he is the manifestation of like the lost fucking century, or like the gods as a whole, or what happened to them. Point is, Enel is so fucking interesting, but not his character and not inherently his fruit. Like, lightning's cool and all, but it's not that. But what he represents is so fucking interesting, which I don't want to.
We're going off pure villains. We have to put him probably like.
I think because because Blackbeard is all of that, but he has a character. But I think Enel's character is mid. His devil fruit is cool, but also just kind of a strong Logia. But yeah, what he represents is fucking insane. So. There's an A there. And then, now we're really going to have to cool ourselves down, because next is Foxy with the slow fruit. I am going to put my opinion out here first of all, which I know Tom disagrees with. I do not hate Long Ring Long Island arc and Davy Back fight. I enjoy it a lot.
These theories are actually going to be like important.
People do think that Davy Back fight is going to come back, in that's like what Luffy and Shanks are going to do.
Not the Davy Back fight, but the island itself, because there's a lot of weird shit about it.
Yeah, in the
the log pose only pointed to one of the islands, not all of them.
Yeah.
And that it's also like shaped like a crown, and that the water only shows parts of it.
Yeah. And it's obviously the things there are like they're so free that they can stretch out into wherever they want. Big one. Which
and like all of that stuff now seems like there's so many people say because obviously everything Oda puts in is important. Everything.
It does come out like that, especially in this part of the series. Like, honestly, Alabasta onwards, you're basically guaranteed foreshadowing. Like, East Blue, I think he was still figuring stuff out. But I think, Long Ring Long Island, it feels like the most useless waste of time thing, which I still enjoyed, but obviously that criticism is still a thing. But yeah, Long Ring Long Island as an arc may be important. But Foxy as a character and as a villain, that's a worse than Wapol. I think we could agree. Like, I think Foxy. The only thing that's funny about Foxy is that he gets really depressed when he gets called Splithead. I think that's that he gets depressed. I think that's about it. That's like, I don't know. I think he Luffy shouldn't have struggled as much as he did against the fight of Foxy's as well, but like, and Afro Luffy was pretty funny. I just find the arc funny. Long Ring Island, the island might turn out to be really important, but I don't think any of that can be given to Foxy, right?
No, not really.
Yeah, so for now, let's not waste any time on him, because he doesn't deserve it. But someone that might, who follows up Foxy, which is kind of wild, our first Admiral, Aokiji.
Aokiji.
The fucking is Aokiji. That's not which one. He's the ice. He's the blue monkey. I'm not sure if that's Aokiji or I don't know what his name is. I think is it Kuzan. I think Kuzan's his actual name. Yeah. Point is, he is wild, right? Because literally that was Oda throwing in strongest of the strong, just casually, right? That was like just literally he was just sleeping on the island, like kind of coincidentally, and they just bumped into one of the biggest threats in the world. Luckily, he was chill at AF, right? Because it's Aokiji. So he...
Quite literally.
Yeah. But in being chill, he still almost killed Robin, almost killed Luffy, fucking almost crippled Sanji and Zoro. So that him being chill is a bit of a quotation marks, but he respected the 1v1 deal of Luffy. Right, that was a thing.
No diffs the entire crew.
It was a no diff. Yeah, literally. He could have... if he ice aged, right? If he just like done a quarter of that, he would have instantly froze the entire crew in the ship, and they would have all died then and there. But he just didn't feel like doing that, which was kind of because he, like, obviously he's as an admiral, he's pretty chill, but he also really cares about Robin. Like this was a thing that he. Obviously he froze her then and there, but that's only because he actually thought that Robin just wants to die. Like, that's also kind of why, obviously, not impelled down, fucking, I forgot what it is. The island with the giant hole under it. It's pissed me off.
It's right on the tip of the tongue.
Enies Lobby. The reason why Enies Lobby kind of got the okay to imprison and kill and the fact that Aokiji gave Spandam the Buster Call, which I guess we'll talk about later, was because he thought Robin kind of wanted to die and he just wanted to give her that wish basically. But obviously when it turns out she didn't anymore, then he kind of backed off. But it's basically that he is a very chill dude, but he also like what happened in Ohara, he just actually looks after Robin, which is really kind of cool. like as an admiral, he was just kind of looking after a fucking pirate and that, which I don't know. Aokiji is such a cool character, which once again I keep saying that in the meme way, in that he's eyes haha, but also he's just chill as hell, super strong, and just I don't know, he's just a cool dude. And
the villain, he's just an antagonist. He's not a villain whatsoever. He just isn't bad at all. Yeah, he's just they're a pirate. He's an admiral. He's kind of got to do his job. And it really is I guess I kind of got to do my job. As a whole, Marines should really kind of exist, but the problem is they're corrupt. Yeah, they're who they protect is corrupt. Really, is what it comes down to, in that their job shouldn't be protecting the world the Celestials. It should be the people. But obviously, they don't see it Marines that way. Like Aokiji and Garp, and Smoker, and their goal is to actually just uphold justice. Yeah, and it's their own ideals of justice for all the Marines. It is just their own ideals. Everyone has their own ideals. Everyone has their own type of justice, which I have forgotten. I think it's Cool Justice or some shit like that. It's some kind of dumb, to be honest with you. But his justice is literally it's just if you're doing wrong, then I'll fucking beat the shit out of you, right? I don't know. But it's really interesting because that's what he was, right? He was just a kind of cool, strong guy. But now, God knows, right? After the fight with Aokiji, he's apparently working with Blackbeard, right? Which doesn't fit, does it? Right? He's a cool dude. Why is he working for Blackbeard? That's not how that would work. If anything, you would imagine he would work with the revolutionaries. Right? But no, he's working with Blackbeard. I think currently he was just shown that he's on Whole Cake Island and he's capturing pudding. I think that's what he's doing right now, as far as we're aware, for Blackbeard. And I think that is really confusing, because it just doesn't sit right? That he's not that kind of character that does
evil. Like, he literally, in the main story, not just covers, the last thing we see him do is save fucking Smoker, right? He just appears out of nowhere, saves someone, and then leaves. Like, he's not the kind of character that would kidnap a like 16-year-old girl for Blackbeard, right? So it's kind of weird as to why he's doing it. Current theory, I think most people agree with, is that he's a part of Sword, like X-Drake. He's used the fight to become a secret pirate, basically, or like a pirate that's secretly still part of the Marines, and stuff like that. Point is, he's a really cool guy, but he's gotten more complicated over time. So I think I don't know about A. I like him in A. I think he's one of my favorite characters, or like top 10. But I don't know. I feel like this is a bit top heavy. Because I don't feel right putting him next to Arlong in B, right? It's wrong. I think you could agree with me there.
We're still Foxy, aren't we? Jesus, I thought we ended up on Aokiji.
No, we are on Aokiji.
Are we? Oh, Foxy D.
Yeah, Foxy D. Yeah, Aokiji.
A.
A. Next to an L. Yeah, an L, Crocodile, Buggy. Honestly, Buggy's feeling a bit weird up there, but that's kind of how he is in the story, right? It shouldn't be that high.
Buggy quite well.
Yeah.
The thing is they all should really. I mean, because I was thinking, oh yeah, if I put them in A, a lot of them are going to end up in A, but most of them should end up in A because, as a whole, they're all good villains, really.
Yeah, like
he makes really good villains.
Yeah. And I think because it feels bad that Smoker's down in C.
I'd put all the Marines in A, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because they're all not like.
I think we could probably get down to some things, but I feel like we might put one in S, Tom.
I feel like they don't have as much personalities as much, but like they have as much personalities as they should.
Yeah,
As
considering
they're admirals and Marines,
they've got they've got like probably like 50 chapters like total on all of them, right? Like there's probably about that much material. Like they got Marineford for like Aokiji. I don't know. Point is we'll get through, but yeah, there isn't much to them yet. They're so developed, right? Like much time for them rather. But now we are going to have some, not all, CP9. For some reason, they just selected 3 of them, not include Spandam. Spandam is there, but I'm just not including him. And the first one, I kind of forgot her name, I'm not going to lie to you. She's the soap woman. Khalifa, yeah. I don't know why they bothered putting her here. She was fine.
Straight D.
Like, she was just a villain.
Nothing good about her.
Yeah, she was just... I don't know, she was just someone for Nami to fight and for Sanji to get beaten up by.
She's got to get the hard D.
Yeah, tell me you like how clean she is. But she wasn't pretty clean though. She weren't clean. But yeah, I think I can see why he's here. Kaku, I think he is at least C. He feels.
Yeah. See.
He feels also just someone for Zoro to fight, and obviously his experimentation with the giraffe was pretty funny, goofy. But like, I don't know, he was the one that delivered the news on the Merry. Like, he at least had some sort of importance, unlike Khalifa. So
yeah, he was more of a character and everything.
Had, like, fucking influence.
Yeah, and he was actually kind of strong as well. Even like with the giraffe stuff, like he was the one that I'm pretty sure he was the one that cut the tower and so it made it like slide a little bit. But yeah, it's someone who has gotten a resurgence recently, which technically Kaku has as well, but he hasn't really done anything. Rob Gucci, the leopard drip man, who I watched a video on
Robert Grucci.
I watched a video on very recently, which is kind of going to influence my feeling on this. But Lucci doesn't have any motivation. He doesn't give a shit. He literally he only works for the government because they give him an excuse to kill people. That's it. That's his entire thing. All he wants to do is kill people, and that's his entire objective.
I think he's B.
I agree with B. I think his fight was fucking like hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was honestly, that was probably peak. That was when I was like, okay, One Piece is the best shit I've ever seen.
Because it wasn't him, was it? It wasn't him that was anything good. It was just that he represents the Marines' ideals. And it was just Luffy
he's not even the
versus
Marines.
government.
He is beyond. He is the world government. He is the darkest face and exactly what the world government is. He is that personified, right? That is his entire character because he isn't one. He's literally is like, I don't care that I'm a puppet for the Marines or the world government because he doesn't technically work for the Marines. I just want to kill people and I don't care who I kill or what I kill or why or anything like that. I'm just going to kill him. That's his entire thing. Yeah. Although it seems like with him coming back now, I guess he probably has a bit more of a personal vendetta against Luffy, like
which is understandable.
Yeah, like I think he normally wouldn't just start killing the shit out of someone immediately, but now he doesn't even care that like the world government's like, do not engage. This is a world national threat. You can't just fight a Yonko like this. Stop it. But he doesn't care.
You know what?
Yeah.
I might just fuck with it just a little bit.
Yeah, and like me and Tom talked about this like when he appeared in the chapter, but like, he doesn't feel like a Yonko threat, and you kind of need to be at least that to be a threat to Luffy now. But he is kind of still being a menace in that, like he doesn't seem like he's going to actually win against Luffy, but that doesn't mean he won't take people down around him, right? Like, instantly, he's fucking, like, I don't know, like, hand-stabbed fat fuck, right? Like, the big axe guy. Like, he's just like, okay, I'm not beating Luffy, and now the pacifistas are getting involved. I'm just gonna murder this guy right quick. just like, he's gonna be annoying to fight, but I don't think he's gonna win any fights against Luffy anytime soon. Although, the fact that he's an awakened zone is interesting, because there's not that many that is confirmed. Well, not many confirmed, but not many that have retained their minds while doing it. Which is, by the way, Luffy and him, I think, as far as the only one's concerned. Because I don't think Kaido actually awakened his fruit during the fight. I don't think that was the thing. But, yeah. Point is...
Oh, wait, no, he got, like, hybrid, didn't he?
He had hybrid. I don't think he ever actually awakened.
Yeah, zones are, like... Yeah.
Yeah.
I do love how what's like considered good is constantly changing in the verse, because it's like obviously started devil fruits. Wow, it's crazy. It's like everything. That's the most important thing. And then it was Logias.
Yeah.
Logia devil fruits, and then it was like.
And then it was like Haki.
But no, it was Haki. But no, it started because it was after the time skip. It was then like you need observation or armament.
Yeah.
And then it was you need both. And then it was but you need conquerors and both.
Yeah.
Now,
but then there was also awakened.
Then awakened zones.
Well, just awakened. Like that's how kids and Law.
Doflamingo.
Well, yeah, like Doflamingo,
like,
Katakuri, Kid
you
and
got
Law.
awaken your devil fruit.
Yeah.
It was awakened zones, and then you need advanced conquerors.
Yeah, you need so much to be in the top tier now, which is I'm not sure. Lucci has it. Like, we can assume he's got Haki, but once again, I don't think we've seen it.
Have that much. You need, because think about like fucking the amount of stuff that we've gone through. Like, an observation and armament are two things that are big, or were big, but like you just have to have both now.
Yeah,
it's just like normal to have both. The Conqueror's huge thing that is like nobody has it, very few people do, and still very few people do. It's just that we're so far advanced that we're only seeing the best of the best of the best, which all have Conquerors.
Yeah,
and you can't just have Conquerors anymore. You need advanced Conquerors.
Yeah, it's honestly, there's been a bit of a power creep during Wano, because it really was mostly in Wano that like suddenly you needed so many, like there was advanced armament, and then no, it's not advanced armament, you need advanced conquerors on your advanced armament, and then it really kind of blew up, and then awakening as well. Like Wano really did like explode on things you need to have to be the strongest, and currently Lucci is going to need to pull out a lot of things that we haven't seen him use. Obviously, Awakened Zone, pretty good start. But unless he pulls out any form of Conquerors, he can't beat Luffy. right? That's what the story is telling us. In the you need at least that.
That's what Kaido had. He had like an advanced conqueror's shield around him at all times.
Yeah.
So only other people using advanced conquerors could do any damage.
Yeah,
and that's
and
just
obviously
what Big Mom has, isn't it? That's why no one could hurt her. That's why.
Yeah,
that's
I think
why
so, yeah.
Everything just bounced off of her. 'Cause
Yeah.
we were like, oh, how's this the case? Because she obviously doesn't have armament on, otherwise she'd be black
yeah.
all the time. Like,
Which,
like Virgo.
if that was the case, then Zoro would have killed her really early on. But yeah, I don't know. It does. Lucci reappearing and trying to be a actual threat is
Wait. Do you think Zoro cutting through Pika when he was in complete conquer?
Exactly.
Armament,
That's, I think
that means he has to have conquerors. Do you think he was using advanced conquerors then?
Well, no, because that was when Pika using full black armament. It just meant that Pika spreading out armament makes it worse. That's a thing, right? Going full body armament isn't actually a good idea because it just spreads out the power. And so when Zoro just put his armament into his sword, it was more refined, more stronger, and so it just cut straight through it. Basically, I think that's kind of what the canon is. Because Pika,
That makes sense.
Pika was just armament. It was just normal armament, but everywhere. And Zoro was like, I can cut through that easily, and did. Right? Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It's just interesting that like Rob Lucci reappearing really does put into scale like how different the fighting sphere is from back then. Right? Back then it was devil fruit. It was literally that was it. Just devil fruit, and how strong you were with the devil fruit, or just generally. But now there's just so many different things that Lucci has to catch up on. Like, not literally, like he probably has over time, but like in the series, he has to demonstrate that he has also followed along with all the new combat mechanics, basically. And
Mechanics.
yeah, well, yeah. And I don't know. For now,
It's correct, but yeah, it's funny.
yeah, for now, I don't know. His lack of character is his character. Like, he is a good example of a strong and silent type that follows, right? Like, better Daz Bones, basically.
Interesting to see what thing is actually like
Yeah.
advanced. No, not advanced. Awakened. Because we've only seen it on Luffy, and obviously it's just he's just a bit
Luffy's
different.
Yeah. But yeah, for now, yeah, I put him after, but we do have Spandam. Because technically he was a higher up boss than Lucci.
Yeah, technically.
Who, although now he does serve Lucci. He is now below him in CP0. And yeah, so that's the thing. But I don't know. Spandam is another example of an annoying, snotty, shit-faced fuck. But you have got to give him his like integral like thread in like fucking what's his name, Frankie's backstory, right? Like like the fact that like he goes back and it is like what put Tom in the prison made Spandam feel a lot more personal of a threat to Frankie, which I think was nice. I think it helped the series, not series, like NAS Lobby as an arc. But I don't think it's much more than that. Tom, anything to say? Nah. Yeah, that's fair enough. D or
like
C?
him.
I think he's slightly better than D, in all fairness. The fact that Frankie got to beat the shit out of him several times, that's right. Like, I don't know. It really is just the backstory for me. Like, it's the fact that Spandam is just a reoccurring character in Frankie's life. It's just I don't know.
C, but I don't think he deserves even C.
All right, I'll put him in D because fair enough. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Now Thriller Bark, and we have lost James. He might rejoin, but we'll see. Absalom. Now.
Huh.
Obviously, pay your respects, press F. Moment of silence.
He's a nothing character.
Moment of silence for Absalom. Absalom.
Try and convince me for anything but D. If
No,
you
I would put him lower because as a Sanji fan, Absalom is a low. Like it's a point in time where a lot of people grow to hate Sanji because obviously Absalom is a disgusting character. And then the fight with Sanji is basically Sanji saying, "I wish I were you," and it's like, "Fuck, how do I defend that?" And so yeah, I wish I could put him lower, but like, yeah, no, he is a shit fuck character who deserved to die, and luckily he has. Hooray!
I mean, for the Western audience, he's far worse than in the Japanese audience because
Yeah.
of sexual assault is far more normalized over there.
It's normalized to display. Obviously, people recognize that that's an evil thing to do, but like, it's something that people wouldn't really even want to see in a Western audience, like that see a character do that.
Yeah, well, because for the West, it's like absolutely just like disgusting. Like the thought of it to normal people is like
Yeah.
sickly, like or rage-inducing. Like
Yeah.
it's actually just like awful, 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 and a lot of people were completely like, who are normal people, would be fine with killing like a rapist.
Yeah.
They wouldn't want to like kill like a murderer or something, but they would kill a rapist
Yeah.
because sex crimes are like the lowest of the low to Western people, and they fucking despise it so much.
Yeah.
But in Japan, it's not like they are fine with it, but they just seem to be far more tolerant of everything, and that's one of them.
Yeah. And it's yeah, because obviously he's still not a good character like trait. Like people like be like, oh, that's fine, but it is just, you know, it's like, oh, stop it, you, more than like I don't want to see that. Fuck. But yeah, no, Absalom is a shit fuck character who is dead. So haha, go die.
Yay.
Yeah. And currently his fruit is on Shiryu, which should be a lot better used, hopefully. Let's hope that Shiryu isn't as big as a pervert. Let's just hope he uses it to kill hundreds of thousands of people instead, because that's more preferable. Speaking of pervert, wait, that's not how that works. Okay, I've actually forgot her name. Pink head bitch with the ghosts. The that Usopp fought. I'm assuming you don't remember either now. Perona, yeah.
I kept thinking Corona, and I was like, no, that's a beer.
Yeah, or you know, a certain other thing. But she, I think, is only as relevant as she is because I think Oda just liked her design. I think he just really liked her look. And so she's just become like basically fucking Mihawk's like bitch. Like that was like a thing. I don't know. Like she's not that significant, but she is kind of significant. Like I don't know. I think she's C because her fight with Usopp was pretty fucking good. Like I don't know.
Big Usopp moment, but see, yeah, she's nothing to the story. Like plot
she's
or
not a
anything.
main villain, so she didn't
But
pose.
She
that
just
kind
has
of a
like
threat.
she is just a character who exists.
Yeah,
I mean, she isn't even a villain anymore.
No, she was. We don't actually know where she is right now because when the Marines arrived to capture Mihawk, he kind of sent her off. So she's off in the world somewhere right now. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if she then went to work at Cross Guild, but we don't know where she is. But yeah, no, people just really like her design. It just resonates with them, and I think it did for Oda as well. That's why she kind of got the not Thriller Bark treatment of just dying constantly. Like I think everyone else at Thriller Bark just died. like fucking Absolute dead. Ryuma already dead. Fucking Moria questionable. Speaking of,
Which makes sense considering the fact that half the people there were actually dead in the first place.
yeah, I mean all's dead. Like
Brooke
Brooke
was
dead.
and all of the characters were like brought back from the dead already.
Yeah.
And there was Brooke there as well, who was brought back from the dead in another way.
Yeah, really, it was only like Lola and her crew. They were like the only people that really made it out of there alive, other than
Yeah,
Perona
Straw
and yeah. So, speaking of Moria, I can't.
and Kuma was a robot as well.
Yeah, yeah. Kuma was barely alive. Like that was a real like death-filled arc. Like people say Oda don't kill anyone off. Yeah, clearly haven't.
My dad made me a bacon sandwich, so I'm gonna go grab that.
All right.
I'm gonna go for a piss, so I'm gonna be a little bit.
I'll pause the video. All right. We're back to continue. All right. Yeah, Moria. Well, let's be realistic. in his own arc, he is like just above like Foxy, right? Like, like he is like technically a threat. Like he did almost kill like the strongest of the Straw Hats, but he never really felt it since he always took like a backseat, which was kind of his thing. But I don't know. He's interesting as far as the world's concerned, in that obviously he went to Wano and like stole Ryuma and fought Kaido and all that kind of stuff.
First,
What?
like, so every time we get a villain, they always have something new that's interesting for Luffy to like compete against.
Yeah.
And it builds the world and it builds the characters.
Yeah.
Warrior didn't bring anything.
No, he did, but Moria isn't it. It was Oz. It was Oz, I would say. If we want to go by that,
He himself didn't bring anything,
no.
and even Oz isn't like that wild.
Yeah.
There's nothing like directly impactful to the story that we're aware of yet.
Yeah.
Probably is.
It probably is going to end up there, because they're an ancient race, right? They're probably going to end up pulling up on the Void Century or something, right? Like, yeah. I don't know. I think Moria was fine and is fine, because obviously then him getting almost killed by Doffy and Marineford, and then him maybe of getting killed by Blackbeard.
In his own arc, I'd say D. As overall, C.
Yeah, I think C is definitely where he belongs. He is serviceable. He has interesting elements about him, like obviously his clash with Kaido. His views in the arc were significant, right? Like he has experienced the loss of losing a crew. That was like a pretty prominent idea to put in people's head for the following arc, which we'll get to. Honestly, now there's not much more to say about Moria, although technically not the following arc yet, but it's going to be both. Kuma, basically, obviously he pulled up at the end of Thriller Bark and made it watchable. it made it not skippable, right? If Kuma doesn't pull up, people would be like, skip Thriller Bark, skip it. But because of Kuma pulling up, people are like, nah, Thriller Bark, it's a watch. You gotta watch that. Literally, I mean, fuck, man. Kuma is such an interesting character, in that he kind of isn't one, right? Like, he isn't like an actual character. We don't really know him, right? Like, he was a questionably like what's his goal? Why is he here? Like, why is he subservient?
That's like that's just like inherently interesting that I think they've done a couple of times where somebody has and is doing something with so much like commitment and purposefulness, but we have zero fucking clue what it is.
Yeah, like he's dedicated his body to the world government. And that in and of itself was like, why would you do that? And then it turns out that he was a fucking like revolutionary, right? Which is like even less makes sense. Like in no universe would everyone in the revolutionary ever do anything for the world government.
And we found out that he did it by choice.
Yeah, and he has a daughter, which I mean, it's like, you know, you'd rather not be a walking corpse if you own a daughter, right? Like if you're just kind of a dick move.
Isn't just like a world government dog either. He's his own fucking guy. So he's just not doing what they tell him to do. He decided to do that.
Yeah, which
like, he's fine with doing that.
And in all fairness, I think we're gonna get the answer for that very soon. Very, very soon. Kuma, as we know currently, is on fucking Kamabaka Kingdom or whatever, and I think Vegapunk seems to be basically recalling him right now. Like they got Vega from Marineford, not Marineford, fucking Marijoa, and like they were trying to like fix him up, trying to, you know, get his brain back, but now he seems to be like running at full speed back to fucking like Egghead, and yeah, so it definitely feels like we are gonna get the Kuma story very, very soon. Obviously with Bonnie on the island, with Vegapunk, with Kuma being shown we are going to get the answers to these questions really soon, which I think is either going to make him kind of worse, like he'll lose that mystery, or that we finally going to get the payoff will bring him up. But for now, his strength and influence in the story, B at least, right? Like what he did to the Straw Hats, or what he did to like Zorro and everything on fucking Thriller Bark, and then what he did to the Straw Hats in fucking Archipelago, already like the heavy threat, the most present threat we've had. Then fucking the mystery of everything that surrounds him. He's just, I mean, honestly, maybe A. I think more A, to be honest. Like,
yeah, A. He's not even a villain though. He's just straight up isn't a villain whatsoever.
He's not even in his right mind to not be now though either. He's just, I don't know. He's a very, very complicated character. Who doesn't even know it himself, it seems. I don't even know. Like, yeah, Kuma is so fucking interesting and so powerful and influential in the story, right? Like, because pacifistas are also thanks to Kuma as well, and they're probably going to be less relevant now, but like they were relevant. Like, I don't know. Kuma has done so much to the story, despite just being a bloke, right? Like, probably he was just like he was like a. I think a king, a tyrant, right? And that was like a whole thing. Although I don't doubt, right? If he was a revolutionary, but apparently he was a tyrant from his old country, I assume that that country was against the world government and they branded him a tyrant, maybe using Doflamingo's ability, and they dethroned him. And that's probably why he joined the revolutionaries. That's my guess, right? Something like that. But point is that Kuma has so many mysteries surrounding him, and that in of itself wouldn't be enough, but he also has the strength and influence in the plot to just, yeah, he's an easy A. Arguably S, depending on the payout. Depending on if, like, his story is, like, a fucking tearjerker or, like, a really cool, like, I don't know. He could be an S, but for now...
We'll see anyway, won't we? We'll see.
Very soon.
When the revolutionaries start doing their thing.
Yeah, not very,
Which might even be soon, because they've
declared war.
It's important. It's important to no, this art currently though, isn't it?
Yeah, no, yeah.
Vegapunk, like the revolutionaries could come off of this bit.
Yeah, no, I do honestly. Shit's hitting the fan now. We're at the end. We're at the end. All the pieces are going to start coming together. And so far, all pieces touching Kuma, his daughter, his fucking scientist that's made him, and his past, and I guess his the world government as well. Everything that is to do with Kuma is currently in the story. So we should definitely expect some answers very, very soon. And I'm looking forward to it. Kuma's a really cool.
Hey, Tyler, you got a name for my sloop?
No. But I have got a name for you. It's Kizaru, the light motherfucker.
Yeah, same exact reasons as Aokiji. All animals A.
I do agree with that. He pulled up. He fucking showed why he's an admiral. He shows he has a character in that, he's like lazy justice. Like, he'll just do what he's told, but not any more than that, right? Like, he is, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, he's just chilling. I don't know. Something of note is we're going to see him soon. He is going to appear on Egghead. Kizaru is coming. Which, I'm going to be very honest with you. I think we should expect Kizaru to be defeated. I think it would make sense if they beat an admiral this arc.
Because also that would make sense why Lucci's there and everything, because he's obviously not strong enough to fight.
Yeah,
Luffy, but he would be strong enough to maybe fight Zoro.
Yeah, or like Sanji, or just be a menace to everyone else, basically. I think.
Let's say or Sanji.
You know what I mean. Point is that
no. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here.
Point is Jinbei as well, I guess now, because the fucking stupid fucking bounties.
Yeah, no. Maybe he'd fight Zoro and then Jinbei. And then he might low diff Sanji, like, and the other two might have to come in and help.
Point is that Luffy, it's no question, but everyone else, Lucci, if he pulls out
There's a fight there.
there's a fight there, especially if Lucci is going to he doesn't want to beat them, he just wants Nico Robin, right? If that is their entire objective, because also Kaku is there, and I don't think it's Khalifa, it's the other woman, Stussy, I think. I think she's there. Yeah, Stussy, that name's not aged well. They're there, so that is 3 CP0 members that will all trying to be gunning for Rico Robin, and if Luffy is fighting Kizaru, that's something, right? Or they're also gunning for Vegapunk. They'll be killing Vegapunk, trying to capture Robin. So the crew will be kind of having to deal with that while Luffy's fighting Kizaru. I think that could be something that's actually has tension in this arc. Meanwhile, we get story on Kuma or some shit like that. Point is, we're gonna get some more on Kizaru. Maybe a defeat for Kizaru, which I think will be very interesting, because obviously he's the only original admiral left, right? You know what happened there, right? He obviously there's 2 new ones.
Akainu became fleet admiral, and then he has probably become part of Sword.
Yeah, and
or he's just actually left, which is possible, I think, but probably Sword.
Yeah, but yeah, no, Kizaru is the OG, and I think it would obviously he very directly was a threat and a heartache to the Straw Hats crew. Kizaru, he was about to kill someone, when I think it was Usopp, before Rayleigh stepped in. So I don't know. I think Kizaru is definitely someone that should be the first admiral to go down.
All the admirals are you're not ready to challenge us now.
Yeah.
And he's the only one left in the admiral position that Luffy could then challenge and prove that he's ready. Which he is, obviously. But because
the
fact of doing it would be nice.
The other admirals wouldn't carry the same kind of weight. Because so far, Ryokyoju, he's an empty character, no one really cares, right? It wouldn't matter if he go down. Then it would be he was only existing to lose to Luffy, right? And I think fucking Fujitora, which obviously we might not get that into since we're not going to spend much time on him. He wouldn't feel right. If Luffy beat Fujitora, you'd feel bad for Fujitora, right? It would feel weird. That's not really where their arcs are going. But fucking Kizaru, I think that's likely. So once again, very soon we'll see Kizaru again, which is interesting. In the Egghead Island has so many similarities to Archipelago, considering how similarities Thriller Bark had to Wano, or that Thriller Bark was a build up to Wano, and so I think this is kind of interesting how this is looking to play out. But
name for my sloop, it's going to be Red Bull, but it's going to be Red Bull in Japanese. Is it? Because then it's a combination of
it's Red Dog.
Kaiju and Ryokuji.
Right. Yeah. So what is it? What would it be then?
Red's
Akai.
Akka.
Oh, Akka. Kyoju.
Akka
Kyoju?
Akka Kyuju? Yeah, I guess.
So, either way, sad, but also cool.
But it's Red Bull, because I like Red Bull.
Yeah.
It is sad, but...
Alright. So obviously they've been sent off, and we are now in Impel Down. They didn't bother putting Bara in, which is weird, because I think she definitely played the villain role for a vast majority of Amazon Lily. Right, she tried to fucking kill the girls that helped Luffy, that turned to stone. But whatever. But for now, there is Shiryu, who I think hasn't done anything worth mentioning yet. But I think I'm interested. I'm very interested in Shiryu. I think he is a very rad looking character with a very rad kind of thing. He's just bloodthirsty as all hell, right? That's just what he is. He just wants to fucking kill people. Although I guess only people that he deems is evil, or I don't know, because I think he just, I don't know. I think Shiryu does have a code, anyone he deems an evil pirate or evil whatever, he will just cut down. But I think his terms on evil were loose or some shit. I'm not sure. Point is, Shiryu is kind of cool, and he's obviously going to be Zoro's fight, right? That's obviously going to fucking happen. So that should be interesting. But he hasn't done much yet in the series, I don't think. Do you agree with that? That there's not much to talk about Shiryu. There's just a lot of potential. I think that's Thomas. Okay. Or I don't feel right putting him in D.
In D?
Shiryu.
Yeah, D.
Yeah. It's next to Absalom. Next to fucking Foxy. I get he just hasn't done no, he's at least equal to Daz Bones, which is in C. I think he deserves C. He just hasn't done anything yet. Which, he saved the Blackbeard's like pirates, but oh well. I tell you what is a very interesting character that no one ever talks about, and that's kind of the why he's interesting, is Magellan. Magellan is so fucking interesting in that, like, I would put money that he is admiral level. That he is an admiral, right? Like, I would put all the money I have, which is not that much, that Magellan is as strong as an admiral, which is why it feels bad that he probably isn't going to be an A. Like, I don't know, Tom. Do you agree, Magellan?
I loved him.
Yeah,
but, he hasn't done anything, so B.
Yeah, he got demoted, I'm pretty sure, after the fight. Hell, I think he actually got put in prison for the breakout. So, I don't know, yeah. But he was really rad while he was a threat, because he was a unstoppable force. You bump into Magellan, you die. It doesn't matter who you are. Like, if it wasn't for Shiryu, Blackbeard's entire crew, and Blackbeard, obviously, would have died. Luffy would have died. Everyone would have died because of Magellan. But, it's One Piece and Luffy's the main character, so rip Magellan, I guess. But, yeah, no, Magellan's kind of cool, but hasn't done anything since, and probably won't. But, yeah, I think this is Sengoku. It's kind of hard to tell, but Sengoku is weird, because he is so important. Like, he was such a high up. Yeah, he is not significant. Like, he is not... He hasn't really done anything. Like, he's not Garp level or anything. Or I think he's implied to be, like, around Garp's level, but... And, like, he's only used his Devil Fruit, like, once, and done, like, one attack. That's all we've seen. And Luffy deflected it. Pre-time skip Luffy deflected his attack. And that's just not a great look on Sengoku. He seems like a pretty cool guy, though. Plus, he had his relationship with fucking Doflamingo's brother, who I've forgotten. Corazon. He had the foster son Corazon, which I think was it was something his character definitely needed. A bit of depth, a bit of humanity, I guess, because he was kind of the inhumane guy that was like, Garp, kill your child. Garp, kill the kid you've been raising this whole time, you piece of shit. And yeah, so I don't know. I think he's not that bad. I think he's C. Would you say Sengoku C, Tom? Are you even here, Tom?
Thinking about Sengoku, I like him a lot.
Think out loud.
I don't know what I think, but I really like him.
He's a cool guy, but he really hasn't done much.
Because of, like, I mean, thingy, what's it? Dressrosa. After that, I really like him. Because Dressrosa...
Because of Corazon, or...
Corazon, and also because he showed up and started eating crackers and just laughing.
Yeah, he's just retired now, and he just really doesn't give a fuck.
In his pants.
Yeah. Like, he's just a retired old guy now. He's just chilling. Yeah, I don't know. I think C, right? I don't think as a villain he was not even close to like the top tiers, but I think C is like not a bad villain, but not a particularly good one either. Just a kind of cool character. And yeah, Sengoku was a cool dude, cool character, cool guy. Who is definitely not a cool guy is Akainu, or
Still A though.
still A, but yeah, I actually can't. Kusa, no,
No, you haven't got. You haven't got the Thousand Sunny, have you?
no, I didn't in the end.
Okay, I'm gonna get Brig Thousand Sunny.
All right, yeah, Akainu. I don't know. I think it's just amazing, the visual storytelling of fucking Aokiji, fucking Akainu, and I forgot his name, but like it's just so clearly you can just tell by the way they dress and then their devil fruit how different they are. Like, like it's just they're so visually representative, and you know he's just fucking magma, right? That he is like, if he's decided something, he is going to do it. If he has decided that you are not on the side of justice, you are dead. Like, he is going to kill you. You don't stand a chance. And he's just so fucking
matched, like, because you know it's like absolute justice, lazy justice, and what was.
I don't know what it is. I was wondering, but it's like cool justice. It's like just like it's not that reinforced justice. It's like,
yeah, and they really fit those fucking things perfectly.
Yeah,
they are the complete embodiments of their monikers.
Yeah, but I would say that Akainu, he is like the actual, and obviously even more so now. But like his absolute justice was what the Marines wanted to be, at least like generally. Like they really like were fucking, I don't know, like just fucking, like, yeah, they wanted to be absolute justice, right? The Marines really wanted to just kill all pirates, right? Which is why Aokiji is now the head, really, is now the head of the Marines, because he is the best representation of what the Marines kind of are in the series right now, right? Like, yeah, like obviously you had some more relaxed higher ups.
I mean, under
relaxed,
his control, that's probably why they've taken up this more
violent approach. Yeah,
yeah,
like deleting things a lot more casually now. But yeah, no, it's definitely him gaining the power of the Marines was really the representation of a more darker era. Like, it is a fact that after Marineford, it was a darker era going into the series, like with Blackbeard being so powerful, with Akainu being the force that he was, and with Ace's death, it's just a worse world after Marineford. And I don't know, he was so good and cool at what he is, like, yeah, and everyone fucking hates him, like in a good way, but it like it's not like, yeah, it's like, God, I hate how good he is, right? Like, God, I hate how strong and how, like, you know, yeah, like, I don't know, everything about it, everything you hear about him is like, fuck, that makes sense. Like, he was the one that decided to kill all the civilians fleeing Ohara, right? Like, he was the one that decided that, and it's like, yeah, that's him. That adds up. that makes sense. But yeah, I know. It was really cool that he was basically the boss of Marineford. Like, he was the new face of Marineford that was like the boss of it. It's pretty cool. But yeah, that was pre-time skip. Now, arguably, we could split this into two videos, Top. Not sure if you want to.
Yeah.
Because then we'd stop now, basically. Because everyone else is, you know, after time skip.
I want to stop now.
All right.
It's just that it's like it's a lot of time. We've already been doing this for a while.
Yes,
I'm fine with making another video.
It's been 1.5 hours or 140,
which is like above my limit. I'm surprised I've been able to go for this long.
Oh, it's One Piece. Luckily, we got a lot of fuel there. But yeah, no.
Luckily, and I mean, I had to interrupt it as well, which is a bit annoying, which I'll explain to you after the video.
All right, yeah. So, yeah, I think this I didn't realize it was going to be a part 1, but this will be a part 1. If another slot like slot frees up and Harry isn't here, then I'll be sure to wrangle Tom back, and we'll finish this off.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll be eagerly waiting.
Yeah, well, yeah. If I'm probably gonna post this on like the One Piece Reddit or some shit, because that's kind of what we do. But so if you're from watching it from there, hello. Check out our Deep Rock videos. It's a really cool game. And if you're from the Deep Rock videos and you watch One Piece, then you're as cultured as we are. Good job, my good man. And if you're from our Deep Rock videos and you have no idea what One Piece is and you sat through this,
but also don't watch One Piece, but don't like unsubscribe to the channel and leave, because like you can just ignore any videos that aren't to your taste. You don't need to like.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, I mean, sometimes we do
leave.
random videos like this whenever like one of us isn't here. So
yeah, it just makes it a bit more fun, because videos are for fun, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah. So thank you all for watching. We'll see you again next time, probably on Tuesday with me. But like for this, another one of these, God knows when. If this video does well, then I might just do it again next week, no matter what, if Harry's there or not. But yeah. So yeah, thank you all for watching. Rock and Stone if you're from the Deep Rock stuff, or I want to be the Pirate King if you're if you're from the One Piece crowd. I guess that's like the One Piece version. All right, see ya.